Yeah.
What's going on, guys? Back to NFL. James Rowe, Kevin Davis, as usual. Got a lot to talk about, especially after last week's games. Some surprises, some disappointments, some exciting. But we'll start with the classical RG3, because right now he's taking the NFL by storm. Whether it be somebody good, whether it be somebody bad he's versing, don't matter. And I believe this kid is going to be good probably for a lot of years to come if he continues playing like this. And I actually have to give some credit to Cam Newton because I think he started all this. Maybe not as RG3 is not as built as Cam Newton, but he's setting a tone now where it's becoming a lot like that. The QBs are going to start becoming a lot more running and all that stupid stuff, and a lot more built now because they see a guy like Cam Newton and a guy like Ben Roethlisberger. Not as fast, but those guys, because teams are going to start drafting those type of players.
Yeah.
So, but his game against the Rams threw very well. He was very unfortunate. His defense didn't play really good,
Screw Josh Morgan.
and Josh Morgan really messed that game up. And don't get me wrong, I understand the emotions, I understand all that. Don't get me wrong, because that is very, very hard to control all of that. But you, as a guy who's been in this league probably 3 or 4 years, you've probably seen this over and over again, that you know in your head not to make that type of mistake. Because I won't say he's the reason that they lost the game, but he's probably a good half of the reason why that game was not even. Because who knows if you're making the field goal?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a 62-yard or whatever, but that's obviously 15 yards closer.
Yep.
Who knows if he's making the field goal? Because if he doesn't make the field goal, then it's all moot.
Yeah, but at least it's a better shot.
No, I understand it's a better shot, but really they shouldn't be in that predicament to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like, let's go, I'm trying to think of another game. Like with Tampa and the Giants. The Giants should hold down Tampa because Tampa's not that good explosively offensively.
Mm-hmm.
But the Giants let them get away, and then they had to climb all the way back into that game, to win that game. And you're looking at that, you're like, really shouldn't be having to do that when you're supposed to be better than that team. You know what I'm saying? So, but RG3 obviously with a good game again, and get this kid a good defense. I know it's hard now. Rapco out and Carricker out now for the season, and it's going to be tough. And but RG3 right now, unfortunately, he has to put the team on his back. Unfortunately, he can't play defense, but he's got to put the team on his back for him to win more games than they thought. Yeah. So, obviously, you got the Panthers. What I said about Cam Newton pulling off a huge upset on the New Orleans Saints.
Yep.
So Cam Newton's on a roll right now. I mean, he didn't look that good in Week 1, but I think that was just the beginning of like the sophomore slump. Maybe he ended it. You never know.
Yeah.
The guy played amazing, and right now he's slated to play the Giants tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Giants having no secondary whatsoever, he could
God.
destroy that. He and Steve Smith. I hope Steve Smith, because I have Steve Smith in like all my fantasy leagues.
Yeah.
So
Another disappointing loss by the Kansas City Chiefs again.
The Chiefs just don't look as good anymore as they're supposed to be.
But you know what? Maybe they're playing into everybody's hands. Maybe this team is going to be the San Diego Chargers teams of like 5 or 6 years ago when they started off 0-4 and they just go 12-4, 11-5.
I mean, it's possible. But
their defense is so much better than what people think it is.
Yeah, but you thinking, you have a guy like, you have a team like the Bills who just got slaughtered against the Jets.
Yeah.
Coming, you go into there.
Yeah, if the Chiefs beat the crap out of the Jets, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Right?
I really wouldn't.
I honestly, there's only 2 teams.
That's when I'll be convinced that the league is just like all around changed.
Mm-hmm. It is, because you're getting the teams like, the Browns are not pushovers anymore. They're actually in games now.
Yeah.
Except for maybe the high power like Texans and 49er teams, all that.
Yeah.
But we're in a different league now. You look at the Raiders. Raiders need a whole new QB. They need a whole new defense if Miami and Reggie Bush is going to run all over them.
Yep.
You got the Colts on the way up with Andrew Luck, everything like that. Tampa Bay's kind of on its way up. Even the Cardinals with their defense.
Yeah.
They went down into Foxborough and shut down Tom Brady. Not necessarily shut him down, but shut down that offense scoring-wise.
It's William Gay.
It's William Gay. That bum. But, you know,
So,
Kevin Comm has to learn to throw the ball to Larry Fitzgerald. I understand he's double covered. So is Calvin Johnson.
yeah.
Still catches the ball. Larry Fitzgerald is almost the same receiver, only Calvin Johnson's bigger.
Yep.
So, to me, Larry Fitzgerald, excuse me, Larry Fitzgerald should dominate every secondary. I don't care who's good and who's not.
And is Andrew Luck going to be the next Tom Brady? Drive the ball down the field and have Adam Vinatieri win you game
He
winners?
can kick the field goal. I know. Well, I mean, it's true because honestly, I was pissed about that. Like, my team comes back all the way from 20-6, only to lose in the last 31 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, you can't let that happen.
Just let me lose by
for
50.
My team does not understand the importance of prevent. You cannot give up 20 yards. 20 yards.
It's Leslie Frazier for you.
Like, I just don't understand. My secondary is not good. Don't get me wrong. My secondary is not good at all.
You don't prevent when it's a tie game and they have the ball on their 35-yard line.
I meant like before the halftime because
Oh yeah. Oh, all right.
You
I thought you
hold
meant
to
at
a
the end of
field
the
goal.
game. I was
No.
like, no, you play them up tight.
no, because it's 10-6 at the end before the halftime.
17-6.
And then it was 10-6, and it could have been 13-6, but you guys decided to blitz everybody. And now Harrison Smith passed my safeties are past the receivers, and then they're open down the field.
You got to think if they don't score that touchdown and they get a field goal,
Mm-hmm.
they lose by 1 point, 20-19.
Yeah.
Even if they kick the field goal.
So, I mean, like, for the reason, what's wrong with the Vikings now, I mean, they're an up-and-coming team, but they're at the point where if they make a mistake, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
You know, they're not there at that level yet. If they do make a mistake, they can recover from it. You know, like a New England Patriots or New Orleans Saints or San Francisco 49ers or Houston Texans. You know, they're not there yet. And, you know, days with the Jets sometimes. Same thing with the Giants.
Jets are just off.
Jets, to me, they have the best secondary in the league, only to
No,
not.
they have the best secondary in the league, only to lose it to a yellow flag for stupid ass penalties.
But it doesn't help that their pass rush does not get them there either.
I know that, but LaRon Landry, I understand he's a big hitter and he likes to hit people, but sometimes it's like you just need to just lay off the guy. Like if he's out of bounds, don't hit him. If he's on the ground, don't slam your forearm into the back of his head. I'm not saying he does that. I'm just saying that's the type of player he was at Washington, where a game-winning situation or a game-tied situation, when they're at the 35-yard line, they get a 10-yard pass to go to the 45, you give up a 15-yard penalty, there they are right then and there on the 40-yard line on your side of the ball.
Well, with the Jets, like, the reason why, because they are, believe it or not, a whole shifted offense, a real offense away from actually winning the Super Bowl. Because their defense is good enough to get there. The defense is good enough to win. It's shown in the past, and it's shown actually last year the offense didn't do anything last year. But there are also times that defense, you know, because of the no pass rush or rushing defense, that the team went down the field and scored real quick because they just ran the ball. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if I see Reggie Bush have 180 yards this week.
It's just
Whether it be receiving
just
or
makes me
passing.
laugh. It just makes me laugh though how the Jets can score 48 points at home, but they could barely score 10 on the road.
Well, we got two different teams going there.
But
Yeah,
still, though,
no, it's at Pittsburgh. It's with Pittsburgh, compared to home against Buffalo.
All right, but they need to beat the teams like Pittsburgh. They need to beat the teams like Baltimore. And in the past, they've won one game against Pittsburgh,
Mhm.
either at Pittsburgh or at home against Ben Roethlisberger. And the one game that they won was without Troy Polamalu. I understand they didn't have Darrelle Revis, but still, you can't make excuses for it. I mean, they need to beat these teams. Every time they play Baltimore, they get crushed. That big offensive line that they have gets annihilated
They don't have enough.
by Haloti Ngata.
They got the Bergstraw and Nick Mangold, and those are the only guys that are trustworthy on that offensive line. Only ones. And then you look at the Jets' schedule. You got Buffalo, who you slapped around, and you got Pittsburgh, who's a tough team no matter what. But then you got Miami. Now you got Miami. You should be 2-1.
No, and you play at Miami.
I'm sorry, you should be 2-1.
Yeah, that's what I said to Ben today too. I'm like,
there
Ben,
is no reason.
Like Ben, if you guys lose to Dolphins at Miami,
you guys got
some
big
really,
problems.
really big problems.
You know, you can't lose to Miami. You lose to San Francisco, okay. You lose to Houston, okay.
But watch.
They're both games at home. They're both games at home, and against two of the best defenses in the league. So, I kind of give away on that. If they can stay close within the games, okay.
But they could start 3-4 before they hit that second Miami game.
That's true.
That's when Tebow comes in.
That's right. That could be when Tebow comes in.
No, after that bye week, if they're mark my words, if they're 3-5 by the time they hit the bye week, guaranteed they're gonna bring in Tebow. I guarantee it. Then you got to think they got Seattle, they got St. Louis, they got New England again, Arizona, Jacksonville, Tennessee, San Diego, Buffalo. Out of those games, you should only lose 2.
And that is to New England and San Diego.
Yes.
Yeah. Because you should be it's at Seattle. So
but that might become hard.
That could be loss number 3. At St. Louis, you should beat St. Louis. I don't care.
Yeah.
You're better than them. Your team's obviously better than them. You're versus New England on Thanksgiving night. Okay, you lose that game. You can't beat for New England for some reason unless it's in the playoffs. You beat Arizona. You beat Jacksonville. You beat Tennessee. That's 3 games right there. You lose to San Diego and you beat Buffalo. This Jet team, potentially, because a loss against Pittsburgh, they're going to lose against San Fran, lose against Houston, lose against New England, and lose against New England again. So it's 4 more losses with the Pittsburgh and maybe 1 more loss with San Diego and with Seattle. So you're looking at 9-7, 10-6.
Look at the Giants have a bye week.
What?
After the Carolina game, they got a bye week.
No, they don't.
Pretty much. They play Sunday night after this.
Yeah, that's another thing. With the schedule the way it is, because I heard the announcers like not Mel Kiper, John Gruden. Who's the other guy that does it with him?
Mike Tirico.
Mike Tirico. He was saying, I think it was Tirico or somebody on maybe Jim Nantz or whatever. They were talking about the schedule, how teams are playing on Thursdays now, and they're saying that people have short weeks. I'm like, if anything, that benefits my team, because let's say you go to Denver. Let's say, for instance, you go to Denver, and then you have to go to San Diego, and that game's on the Thursday. You could stay in Denver and then go to San Diego. Or go to San Diego and practice there, because you're allowed to practice there.
Yeah.
Because you're playing the team, technically. So, then on that Thursday, when the game's over, you fly back home, and you got 2-3 days off before you got to start your routine again.
Yeah.
To me, I think that's fair. I like the Thursday night every Thursday night's a football game.
I like that, but don't give them Thursday night and then a Sunday night after it.
Yeah, that's kind of like giving them like an
that's
extra.
Like kind of
giving them an extra 7 hours.
But once the Giants hit week 6, listen to the games that they have to play. At San Fran, home Washington, at Dallas, home for Pittsburgh, at Cincy. Then they got their bye. Then they play at home against Green Bay, at Washington, home against New Orleans. They lucked out on that. At the Georgia Dome,
How did they get home at New Orleans?
At the Georgia Dome, at Baltimore.
Because they got their ass kicked last time.
And then the last game of the season, Miracle at the Meadowlands, Part 3, at home.
Philadelphia.
Yep.
Because you look at the Giants' schedule, and Dallas stopped them, and I think Dallas is a semi-good team. Overall, that couldn't be a great team, but they can never be.
Don't tell me that like they're a bad team because they lost to Seattle.
No, they're not a bad team.
Baltimore lost at Seattle.
Seattle's the hardest place probably to play at.
12th man stadium.
So, and the way
A&M.
that it is with Dallas, they're a good team that at times a great team that at times a crap team.
Mm-hmm.
It's an up and down thing, and it's the way it's going to be. The only way the Giants have to lose this division, to win this division. I'm sorry, they have to hope Philadelphia. And right now, Washington, not to play good. And right now, the way Philadelphia is playing, they're playing like absolute crap, and they're winning both games by 1 point. They have 10 turnovers. I think 10
It's
or
the
9.
AFC North too.
They're 9 and 10 teams, 9 to 10 turnovers that you give away, whatever, and you win both games by 1 point. Imagine if you don't turn over the team. Imagine if you don't turn over. They probably would have won each game by 20 points. So, after Carolina, they're in Carolina, so that's a big, You get the first 2 games at home, then you got to go Carolina, then at Philadelphia. I'm actually anxious to see that Cleveland Giant game because knowing the Giants' luck,
They'll take that lightly.
what they'll do is that they'll go to Carolina, they'll beat Carolina, they'll lose at Philadelphia. I mean, they'll win at Philadelphia, but then lose against Cleveland, and then lose against San Fran. They beat Washington, beat Dallas, and then lose against you guys, and beat Cincinnati.
And then, like what I said to
Hope
you,
they lose against us.
and like what I said to you, after the bye week, I guarantee that the New York Football Giants will lose outright.
Not one win.
Not one win. I guarantee you. All you will see from week 12 to week 17 is an L.
Bold statement coming there, folks.
Please, they got Green Bay, Washington, New Orleans, Atlanta, Baltimore, Philly. 6 teams that
Either-
can easily beat them.
Either Washington.
Either Washington or
Or-
New Orleans is going to shit the bed.
Really, I thought it would be Atlanta. Honestly,
No, because the way that New Orleans is playing right now.
Well,
They're playing
right
at
now,
Atlanta.
compared 12 weeks later.
Well, they're playing at Atlanta. But yet again, though, by the time it hits that time, who knows if half of those teams, like Atlanta, Baltimore, or Philly, will have the division already. So,
I mean, you look at each division, and there are 20 teams in this NFL that are, what's it called, 1-1. 20 teams out of 32 teams. That means at least like 2 teams or 3 teams are 2-0. And no, 4 teams are 2-0. And I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 4, 5, 6. 6 teams are 0-2. And the 6 teams that are 0-2, I think you can look at them and be like, is that the 6 teams?
I just noticed, too, that I have a Thursday night game and then a Sunday night game after.
What game is that?
Tennessee, I have Thursday night, and then
that's-
Cincinnati.
Alright, so you get the same thing.
I guess everybody does. I didn't notice that.
I guess, I don't know, let me look at my schedule then. I have a Thursday game, I know that, against Tampa, but then I have a 4 o'clock game in Seattle. Well, I'm home against Tampa, so I'm really not. Well, I'm in the middle of the country, so I go back, like, it's really not that far. compared to
I just
east or
love,
west.
though, how after I play Kansas City on Monday night, I got Baltimore, Cleveland, Baltimore, San Diego, Dallas, Cincy, Cleveland.
What
Talking
weeks
about
are
my
that?
division.
12? 11,
11 and 13. I play.
I feel
play-
like every team in the NFL plays one team, then doesn't play the other team, then plays the same exact team. Because I do the same thing with Chicago, Green Bay, Chicago.
Well, I'll check Baltimore or Cleveland.
I'm going to check, like, Houston or something.
Cleveland makes more sense.
Well, I'm just saying, like, maybe...
No, because Cleveland doesn't do that either.
No, Houston doesn't do that. All right. Well, because I felt like, we played the same team, like, twice in, like, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Well, Dallas kind of, sort of. They play Philly, Cleveland, Washington, Philly.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Exactly. Philly, Cleveland, Washington, Philly. Dallas should really go 2-2.
Just maybe Roger Goodell sucked at making a schedule.
2 and
It's
2.
It's not Goodell. Goodell doesn't make sense.
Wait, what do you mean? Like 2 and 2 before their bye?
No, Philly, Cleveland, Washington, Philly.
Oh.
They'll win one game against Philly.
I said they'll win at Philly.
They'll
then
lose
they'll
against
at home.
Washington and Philadelphia.
Yeah, they'll win.
They won't win
They'll
at
win
Philly.
at Philly, but they won't win at home.
Dallas is fucking weird like that. I don't understand. So, whatever. The Monday night game, Peyton Manning looked kind of bad to begin with, but then turned it on late.
Yeah.
A little bit too late, but now I get you got to hear Eli Manning fans. Oh, he's better than Peyton. He's better than Peyton. He's not better than Peyton. Never be better than Peyton.
Happened to me at work today.
Huh?
Happened to me at work today.
But he's not. He's not. He'll never be better than Peyton. You could say anything about the championships. You could say anything about the fucking playoffs. It don't matter. Here's your realistic thing. Peyton is better than Eli. Eli's had the defense. Peyton's never had the defense.
He said to make Peyton has to make his defense better by keeping them off the field.
That's the only way his defense is good. Because now Peyton, because all those years going down in field and scoring so quick, he knows he could score 5 minutes into the first quarter, and he knows he scored too quick.
Yep.
So
He did that against Baltimore a couple years ago.
Mhm.
But we got a new leader among leaders in the power rankings.
I think it should be.
And that's San Fran.
Who was last week? New England.
New England was, and then they lost to Cardinals.
Actually, I don't understand that. I don't understand that.
used to the Cardinals.
How
The biggest drop. Hey, I almost had the same exact thing happen to me, but in the Super Bowl. Thank God.
That was a real Cardinal team though, not this one.
Still though. Lose to
Still
the
what?
Cardinals. Lose to Arizona Cardinals.
So
Who's
it's
terrible.
like losing to the Cleveland Browns.
It's terrible. Biggest jump was Seattle, and the biggest drop was, of course, Kansas City because they can't
They
win
can't
games.
find themselves out of a paper bag.
I don't think they scored more than like 10 points in their games.
They had to have. Kansas City?
Yeah.
I think they scored like 41. Yeah, 41 points.
I think, oh my God, the defense is terrible.
Yeah, the defense has given up 75 points. That's honestly astounding.
New Orleans dropped 8. Dropped 8 spots because they lost to St. Louis.
New Orleans?
Yeah.
No, they lost to Carolina.
Or no,
St.
that was
Louis-
last year.
Yeah.
Or 2 years
I
ago.
remember that when St. Louis beat them.
They were undefeated. I remember that, and they were trying to go for their undefeated season, and they lost at like week 13 or something like that. I remember. I was so pissed. I was like, "Fuck!" I had
Did
them
they
in my
lost in the
pool.
playoffs?
What?
Did they lost in the playoffs? The Seahawks?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's when they lost to.
Yeah. No.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was playoffs.
No.
No, that wasn't the year.
That was the other one Super Bowl.
That was the year that they won the Super Bowl.
Thanks, Dick.
Way to go. Bring back terrible memories for James. 2009.
Bullshit memories.
Hey, we didn't know about the bounty system. Alright, calm down.
I knew about it.
AP did.
AP obviously knew about it. AP knows anything that goes on.
But who do you think, out of your mind right now, is the most overrated team in the NFL?
Green Bay has to be up there. Because they're like, oh, they beat Chicago.
No. If you have one team that's overrated and one team that's underrated.
One team that's underrated has to be right now. Look at this.
Probably the Redskins.
I'm gonna go that far, Dick. Well, right now Arizona's got to be underrated the way they started the season, and the most overrated I think has to be the Eagles. Either the Eagles or the Giants. It has to be one of the. And I don't think the Eagles as much as the Giants.
I'm gonna say the Falcons.
Oh, they're looking good.
I don't know. I think
Who
they
they play
lucked
week
out.
one?
Week 1 they beat Kansas City.
Oh.
And in week 2 I think they lucked out against Denver.
I don't know if you can luck out.
He
Picked
had
up
3 picks.
in the first quarter.
I know, but I didn't watch it. I mean, I'm assuming though that the receivers tipped it or whatnot. Or...
No, I think there was one. I think that was tipped, and it should have been picked. But then the other ones were either underthrown or overthrown. I don't think the receivers ran the wrong.
I just
route
don't.
either.
I just don't know because it's like they could do what they did 2 years ago
Mhm.
when they went 14-2
Yeah, not
or
do it.
13-3 and not do anything in the playoffs. That's the team that Atlanta is.
Mhm.
I'd say the most underrated team is probably San Diego.
Underrated.
Mhm.
Well, who really have they played? They played Tennessee. I know that,
Mhm.
and I believe they picked
Oakland.
Oakland. And so
I don't know.
they
I
really
just think
haven't
they're
played
flying
anybody
up-
good.
But they're just, I don't know. I think
So
they're
no,
flying
you have
under the
Atlanta
radar.
versus San Diego. Atlanta versus San Diego that starts the year. I mean, that starts week 3. So right now, there's your
There's my teams.
whoever wins.
Whoever wins, I
is
guess.
pretty
I
much
don't
the
know.
real team. So, and then they have Kansas City again. I mean, no, they have Kansas City next. They played Oakland. Yeah. They have Kansas City next week. The Monday night game. Oh, that's Sunday night. Really, San Diego versus New Orleans? Really?
Sunday and then Monday. I don't see. That's the thing I don't get. Why do they have a Monday night game after playing at home at Denver? Or no, they play at New Orleans. Alright,
And
so
then we play home against Denver. Then they have a bye week.
that's stupid.
What?
That's so stupid. That's almost as bad as the replacement officials.
Oh,
Let's not start with them.
oh God! Don't start with that.
They're so bad.
They're so fucking awful. We know that. They're so bad, and it makes no sense what they do.
Guy got removed because he was a Saints fan.
Guy got removed. He was a Saints fan. You got a horrible phantom call on the Steelers for Santonio Holmes, where it looked like he was not even touched
Oh
by
my
the air
God.
itself. But
That was stupid.
at first when the collision happened, I thought it was literally head to head, helmet to helmet.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, so it's gonna be helmet to helmet. Then he said pass interference, and I'm like,
How?
no one touched him.
Nobody touched him. Taylor didn't even touch him.
So and they went from a decent week in week 1 to completely horrible. And each week they're gonna start progressing these guys down into. They're gonna watch their every move.
Yeah.
And it's terrible. Like, because these guys should be, good enough to do it. And I don't understand how they
Yep.
So.
And then another thing is that on Sunday night,
The Niners.
we were at his sister's house, and something happened. Something very, very bad happened to one in particular person. I'm sorry to inform everybody this, but Black James in our fantasy league got trade raped.
I want to get yourself checked.
He got raped by 4 people at once. It was
he
terrible.
enjoyed it very though.
It was horrible.
He got his players.
He got his team, preferably the whole New York Giants.
Yep.
But it was just a manslaughter. He didn't know which way it was coming. Next thing you know, I started it, and then next thing you know, Gabe came over. James went in through the back door. Nick came through the front. Big Ben went over the fence. Ange tried to make her way in, but evidently he had everything guarded. After that, after 5 people or 4 people got him at once, he probably
He pretty much is like, all right, stop.
But, it was horrible. And then today, even he traded with Gabe, Greg Jennings.
Traded for Greg Jennings.
Gabe traded Greg Jennings for Larry Fitzgerald. Gabe traded Jay Cutler for RG3. Who else? Dick traded for Tony Romo and Des Bryant, and in exchange gave Black James, Eli Manning, and Antonio Brown from the Steelers. I traded D'Angelo Williams and Hakeem Nicks for Darius Hayward-Bay. It was kind of a bust. But I got Adrian Peterson.
Who now belongs...
How do you trade Adrian Peterson?
Because I called him out.
There should be a rule that whenever you're in a fantasy league, you don't trade Adrian Peterson.
No, you don't. Best running back in the league. Best there is, best there was, and best there ever will be.
Okay.
Bret Hart? Yep.
Wow, I'm not going to go that far.
It will be.
He's not the best there ever was.
Yeah. Still young.
Oh my God.
Neither was Bret Hart.
Oh my God.
Neither was Bret Hart, though.
Yeah, but I'm not going to go as far as say that AP was the best who ever played.
I never said that. I just said best there is, best there was. Doesn't mean he had to play. So confused.
I'm not confused. It's just retarded. If AP goes out in the next game
Shut your mouth.
with like
Shut your mouth.
torn ACL
If that happens again, we're not doing the show. So you know.
MCL,
We're not doing the show.
you done.
I'm throwing you through the wall.
You're done.
Yeah, Nick will take your spot. You can fuck off.
That was too much.
Better watch out. I mean, you got Patrick Willis, Varl Bowman, Ahmad Brooks, and Alden Smith all at once. Just wham!
That's where we're gonna pull the upset. Hopefully. I don't think we're gonna win. No, we're gonna get our ass kicked.
Blair Walsh.
Blair fucking Walsh.
That's if you guys can get a first down.
That's true. That's very hard for us. 3rd and 3. Let's throw it downfield.
It's like the Jets, 3rd and 1 on the goal line. Let's pass it.
No, this is the Jets. 3rd and 10. All right, everyone do a curl route 5 yards before the first down. What? I remember that. It was last year against New England. Me and my father were watching, and it was 3rd and 10. Everyone did up 3 steps, curled right in, and he threw the contrary. He got like 6 yards, and he had a punt. And I'm looking at the replay. I'm like, 5 wide receivers. They all did a fucking curl. Who was making these play calls?
Schottenheimer.
Oh God.
Well, now he's on St. Louis.
So, in our fantasy league, I'm 2-0, on the way to an undefeated season. I will be doing it, fellas. I will be doing it.
You lose the blackjack.
And when you lose to me, that's when we come back in here on the show, and I'm just gonna be like,
I'm not gonna lose here, so it don't matter.
yeah, you said that too in fantasy baseball.
Yeah, because we got bullshit. Because someone had to start Nova, you douche.
Ended up winning that league. Thanks, Rolo, for letting me join.
But I have the most points in the league. Who's the second most? Nick, you have the second most points. And I've beaten those things by at least, I have 90 points more than you. That's disgusting.
And I drafted Fitzpatrick in this.
Would you look at that? Rounding
I
out
drafted Fitzpatrick.
Oh, you drafted Fitzpatrick.
rounding out the bottom of the pile with the least amount of points is Ben.
Oh, Ben.
Love you, Ben.
2 points behind me.
How is this possible? Angie's the only one that's defeated. Sorry, sis.
God, what am I, the Steelers? Look at my points for and points against.
Yeah, you are the Steelers. Right now, my projected playoff bracket, I will apparently be versing John, and Dick would be the third seed against Gabe.
Gabe's going down.
So.
you
you play blackjack. Ange is the last seed. Sorry, Ange.
She's 0-2.
Yeah, she's on 2.
I thought she won last
No,
week.
she lost by 2 points.
Just imagine this. She's 0-2, you're 2-0, 1-2, 2-1. Oh, your undefeated season goes. Oh, man. That's
Listen.
terrible.
I'll give up my undefeated season for the Vikings to beat the Niners. For the Vikings to beat the Niners, I will give up my undefeated season in fantasy.
But what if you both lose?
And then I'm fucked. I'm going to be pissed. I mean, it's going to be...
Hold on. Who plays in the Monday night game?
This week?
Yeah.
Green Bay and Seattle.
Hey, go to your box score.
Oh, hello. Look at the text. Excuse me.
Oh, shit.
What?
It's gonna come down to that.
Oh, because she has fucking Rodgers.
Yeah.
But I have Jordy Nelson. So just throw to Jordy Nelson all day, so then the points are moot. She has Jermichael Finley, though, too. It's alright.
Oh, I got Frank Gore.
Yeah, I got Frank Gore. But
No one picked him, so I'm like, oh,
I don't know how. Well, I don't remember what round you picked him. So
Well, we haven't picked. You guys took a picture of it.
yeah. So
Fuck, just throw it.
anyway, guys, we're gonna head out. It was a good while it lasted, and we will see you guys next week. It was a fun show. Take care.
See you later.
Damn it. Got it.